Welcome to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. I am so happy that you have chosen to join us for today's program. I am your host, Deanne, and of course you could view this program every Saturday at 5:30 in the p.m. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Well, today we are going to be speaking about the ins and outs of life for women in business. Maybe as a young woman, you are contemplating starting a business, or maybe you're already in a business. You should probably take the time out and listen in. My guest today is Miss Stacey Douglas, and she's a passionate entrepreneur who now resides in both Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad as well as Tobago. She's the founder and manager of Branch Off Hub Limited. Ms. Douglas has a deep love for community building and creating opportunities for others, whether through business, mentorship, or simply inspiring others to realize their fullest potential. So I think she's on the perfect program today, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Stacey, welcome to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Deanne. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
You are most welcome. Well, I'm hoping that your transition has been a bit smooth in terms of from Trinidad to Tobago, and that you have been taking the time out to probably head to the beaches, the waterfalls and stuff, or has it just been work?
So far, it has been as smooth as the Galleon's Passage, which we all know is a bit rough.
Okay.
And no, I haven't been able to take some time to enjoy the island as yet. I've been more into the transition period.
Yes.
And getting the business up and running, getting persons more aware of what our business is about.
Okay.
So until that phase has kind of passed,
yes,
then I'll be able to enjoy all the island has to offer.
Very well, very well. Well, welcome to Tobago. First of all, as a young woman, what motivated you to take that leap of faith to start your own business? Well,
Deanne, funny enough, I have been into business ever since I was a child. So what I used to do, there was a lady in the village. She used to sell these American snacks that we never would get here in the grocery. Skittles, Starburst, gums. And I would buy from her and then take these snacks to school, open them up, and sell them single. Right? And I would check my little coins and see how much I needed to purchase the snacks again and how much profit I made. So ever since school, I was doing that. And my mom used to sell clothes. I used to take the clothes to school and sell the clothes at school. So I've always had this business mindset.
Right. So business, you would say, is in the blood.
Yes.
Your family, you come from a family of business-oriented, vision-oriented persons.
Somewhat.
Very well, very well. Just how difficult is it for a woman in business generally, and especially in a male-dominated field, and how can one treat with this?
I think women now, today, more than when I was younger, we see women on boards, in corporations. We see women in so many leadership positions now that I think that I don't even see the barrier. Maybe there is, but I just don't see it at this time, because every time you turn on the television, you look on social media, you look on the papers, you see where women are just at the ceiling, they are to the top of these organizations. And I think we are being regarded as a force to be reckoned with now. So me coming from, I'm the only girl in a family of three boys, and I've always been around males. Okay. I think transitioning and being in a male-dominated environment, maybe it's a bit biased, maybe it's a lot easier for me, but I don't really see it as being a challenge now. Maybe more so than it was long ago.
Okay, so is it that we have evolved?
Yes.
And persons are having a much more open mind towards both men and women, being involved in business and even in certain jobs that before you would not have found a woman, like even truck drivers.
Yeah.
I saw just recently a lady, and she was like, she has been driving trucks for so many years, and a lot of persons were very, very surprised, but yet you see a lot of women come into the fore a bit more, as you rightfully said.
Yes.
And that is commendable, because at the end of the day, we have to do our part. Whatever we must do, whatever our goals are, whatever our aspirations, whatever we are pursuing, we have got to pursue it just like anyone else.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
so you spoke correctly when you said that. When we take into consideration some of the brick walls that budding entrepreneurs would face, for example, like a lack of capital, no tangible collateral, the general startup hiccups, it really takes a level of determination and persistence to push through until that dream comes to fruition of owning your own business. My question is, just what kept you pushing?
I grew up in an era where we learn about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That was one of the teachings we had at that time, especially doing psychology, where you have the basic needs, physiological, food, shelter, you have safety needs, and then you have the pinnacle, which is self-actualization, right? Which is being the best you could be. And for me, that is what keeps me pushing, because I want to live a fulfilled life at the end of this all.
Well, yeah, that is very, very important. So it means that you would have had from a very early age set up like a vision board, because just from the impression I'm getting in our discussion, you are a person that plan.
Yes.
Yes, you're big on planning. You're big on writing down exactly what it is you want to see, what it is you want to accomplish. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. I am a planner, and I am a visualizer, let's just say. So whereas I may not write things down, I close my eyes and I ponder and I visualize and I see it happening and I believe it happening. And yes, I do doubt myself. I have doubted myself many times and be like, Stacey, could you really do this? I've never seen anybody like me do it. So what makes me feel I could do it?
Right.
But just keeping that positive self-talk going, reading books, aligning yourself with persons who are on the path that you want to go.
Yeah.
Is important, and that is what really kept me going and pushing to actually realize what Branch of Hub is today.
As you spoke about that, my mind went into Les Brown, the international motivational speaker, Les Brown. And I was speaking at an event last Saturday, and I was telling them it is always better to be prepared for an opportunity and it doesn't come, than for an opportunity to come and you are not prepared. So what you have been doing is preparing, writing your plans, writing on your vision board as to where you would like to see yourself, and actually coming into the knowledge, whatever knowledge you would need to accomplish your goal. And that is very important, especially for our young persons, because sometimes you would think, okay, I want to open a business. You're not certain what kind of business, you're just not certain, but you know you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult sometimes, especially in the early stages, as I spoke about, no capital, no collateral, that kind of thing. And all you know is that you have a vision to do this. And I guess we just have to keep pushing, whatever it is. I always believe personally that once you make a move, doors are going to just swing open.
Yes.
But what happens is that sometimes we have the ideas, but we're not even making a move. We're not even saying, okay, let me go and register this business, or let me find out more about this. But from the time you start making a move, then you realize you come to a door, you recognize the door is closed, but it's not locked. So from the time you make a move, things just start to happen. And I see that you are a mover and a shaker.
And you made a very important point in terms of moving. The most important thing to do is to start.
Yes.
Right? You have to make at least a start. And you will find that as you start and as you gain momentum, and then things will just start to fall into place. And even if they don't, you have to be able to pivot.
Yes.
You have to be able to say, okay, all right, and act quickly, be decisive, and make a change, and don't be like, oh my gosh, it's not working out.
Yes.
You know, what am I going to do? And that's where the positive self-talk,
of course,
and the growth mindset comes in. You always have to be willing to learn, to grow, to make a change, and
see things work out from there.
Yeah.
But you got to make a move.
You have to make a move.
Got to make a move. Well, we cannot be naive that in your endeavors you were not faced with challenges that made you feel like just packing up, just quitting, just giving up, just throwing in the proverbial towel. Just tell us, what were some of the strategies you adopted in dealing with this when this time came?
Well, apart from being a person who naturally doesn't give up easily, apart from having that type of characteristic, what kept me going, again, I will keep saying, is the positive self-talk. Also, the support that I had from family,
right.
My mother, my father, my 2 children, the support, my partner, very, very, very important. And I think that's a challenge that a lot of people have today. They don't have the support system in place. So they may have the idea, they may have everything else, but that support sometimes is just what you need to just wake up on a bad day and say, Stacey, keep going.
Keep pushing.
Going. Look where you reached so far. Look where we have come from. Just take another step. Let's keep going. And I think that is what really kept propelling me to keep going. The challenges were started from a lot with workmen, right? We know how challenging that could be.
That has its own challenges.
That is a
there.
separate show by itself. Transforming lives.
Yes.
Workmen edition. Right? Then the challenges with the transit between Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
The challenges with the sea bridge, the challenges with the air bridge, getting tickets. So what kept me going was the end goal, that I would be able to change a lot of people's lives by giving them an opportunity to showcase their food offerings and showcase their talents.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, it will also give me the opportunity to realize my goals, my dreams, and my aspirations. Because when you help others attain their goals, you also help yourself attain, the goals that you set for yourself as well. So, that's what really kept me going.
Of course. Not to mention that it has its own rewards. It's very fulfilling when you can be a part of the change, because you are transforming lives in your own sphere of influence. You are transforming, you are giving other young persons an opportunity to shine, an opportunity where they can get their business out there. They may not have had that opportunity before, or sometimes location and so many things, but you have made it much easier for young people to be able to. And I saw just recently you had a new initiative in terms of inviting other smaller businesses to be a part on a weekend, which is also a very good, very commendable initiative that you would have taken in. We're going to talk about that a little later on in the program. Sure. As it relates to forming and creating strong ties, where the more seasoned and experienced business women especially can create ways and avenues to greater influence those who are now starting up, possibly give advice and ways to grow your business. How do you think we can partner with these other women?
The small group of women that I have or know as businesswomen, and I could go to them and ask for advice, they could ask me for advice and that kind of thing. I stay close to that.
I understand. Well, maybe this is an opportunity for us to be able to change that, because remember, we have not really had that kind of culture in terms of having other business women come together. You know, you would hear it with the businessmen. They would have a businessman association, but I would hardly hear business women coming together. So maybe this is an opportunity for us to be able to come together as businesswomen, because iron sharpeneth iron. I mean, you might be selling food, I might be selling clothes, somebody else might be in the hardware business, somebody else might be a hairdresser. So it's not like you're in competition, you know, so we can be able to come together and try to enhance, because at the end of the day, we are building each other. And I think for way too long that a lot of women have not been, you know, actively supporting other women when it comes to business, when it comes to other areas as well. But I am hoping that with a program like this, we can be able to speak to other women. And I mean, this program has a very wide audience, so that we can be able to come together and be able to enhance, one helping the other, women supporting women, because that is key. Because how I'm looking at it, remember, we're not just looking at just passing on information, it's to the next generation and the next generation, just as how we would ask our older women to be able to speak to our younger women about marriage, about family, about taking care of their families, about how to manage their careers and stuff. It is the same way. We have to pass the information on. So this is just one aspect in terms of the business aspect. You know, so I think that we can definitely do something really well others would be able to benefit.
I hope we can, because we have a lot of experiences to share. We have to share with each other.
Yes.
Right? Some things that you as a businesswoman might have gone through, I may not have.
Of course.
And to stop me from going through it, you might share it with me.
Yes.
So I really would like a type of environment like that.
Right.
Because as you say, we have a lot of young girls coming up who want to get into business.
Yes.
They want to have their own salon. They want to own their own bakery.
Of course.
And that kind of thing. And we must be able to impart our knowledge onto them.
Yes.
Right? And for them not to feel threatened.
Yes.
But for them to feel empowered.
Of course.
By the knowledge, so that they will know what to do and what steps to take, what steps not to take.
Right.
And
of course, which pitfalls to avoid.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, that is the goal. That is definitely the goal. Well, viewers, at this time, we're going to take a short break and return with the program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. My guest today, Ms. Stacey Douglas, and she's a young businesswoman. I personally believe that as businesses come into various communities, that they are supposed to make a contribution to the development of those communities. Find a way to give back and of course make an impact. How do you think more business owners can create that kind of synergy and connectivity, not only with our young people, but the communities, to create greater partnerships?
Well, I believe that it is the responsibility of not only the government, as most people would see it, but yes, with businesses in communities to impact the communities in a positive way, right? I believe that especially the youths, I really believe that especially the youths, we have a responsibility to impact them in a positive way. And by a system with programs, so you go into the schools, sometimes the schools have programs running that they need assistance with, not only financial, but you may have someone on your team who has the education that they could share, who has the skill, who could take time to teach. So I believe that that is one way that we could help. In my in our branch of Hub, we want to start an initiative, for example, where we have young persons coming and sharing their talent, whether they could bake cookies, whether they could do crochet, whatever it may be. We want to start that initiative with schools where persons could come on a select day and sell young people and sell what they have created, right? Thereby encouraging entrepreneurship. Because yes, you may be a doctor, but a doctor could also be an entrepreneur.
Correct.
Right? And that is just one way us as a business could help the community, and I'm sure other businesses out there could do the same or similar type activities.
Right. Do you think enough incentives are in place to thrust more young persons into entrepreneurship, or is there greater room for improvement?
Yeah, and I think there are incentives out there. I think there are. I'm not aware of all of them, but I think the schools, right, they have government programs, but I think the young people, some of them have this mindset of, me ain't going to work for nobody, I want to work for myself. This type of mindset. No patience.
Right.
Right? How you could be a master if you've never been a servant?
Okay.
How could you be a teacher if you've never been a student? Right? You need to start from the ground up. You need to work for somebody first before you could work for yourself. That is my take on it. If you've listened to business people speak, owners of businesses and stuff, and they had their children working in the store.
Yes.
Because you have to learn people first. You have to learn how to deal with people. You might say, I want to be a hairdresser. Why are you doing working in KFC? How are you going to learn to deal with a difficult customer? How are you going to learn systems, operations?
Yes.
You have to work ground level. This is my belief.
Yes.
You have to learn. The biggest challenge in business is learning people and how to deal with people. And you could only learn that by working with people,
Correct.
Working for people. So I think that the youths are not really going and trying to access what is out there. They are more focused on that small money. Me ain't going to work for that small money.
Okay.
And for nobody to tell me what to do for that small money. And no.
And that is not the approach.
That is not the approach.
That is not the attitude.
You're going to learn. You're going to learn systems. You're going to learn operations. You're going to learn people. So that when you have your own business, you could apply some of the things.
Yes.
You could learn what to take, what to leave out, and apply it to your business. That's why you would see a lot of people starting businesses and they're not lasting long. They're failing because they're not patient.
Okay.
They're not patient enough. So to grow a business, to start a business, you must be patient and go and look and see what is out there. On social media, from scrolling through social media, you will see a lot of programs, you see a lot of initiatives, but you need to be patient.
Right.
And you need to try and access what is out there, even if the money is small. you're not going necessarily for the money, you're going for the experience. So that's my take on it.
Yes, as you talk about learning people, it brings me to the question of customer service. I don't want to say especially in Tobago, because customer service is something all over the world that persons have a lot of issues with. How you deal with your customers, how you interact with them. And you said earlier that when you go to these programs or you go to work somewhere else, you know, you get to learn people, you get to learn the environment, you get to learn strategies, how to deal with customers, especially difficult customers. So let's talk about that.
Well, customer service training is one way we could go, right? Teaching persons how to deal with difficult customers. I think it starts even in schools. Customer service starts even in schools, learning how to speak to your teacher.
Yes.
Simple as saying good morning, good afternoon every time you see someone pass, right? I know customer service is a big problem we have in this country. I don't know why, but we have to learn how to take things personally. Sometimes a customer may come with a situation and they may, Diane, what are this and what are that and whatever the case is. They're not really stressing at you, you are not really the problem. The problem is behind you. The problem is the system.
Yes.
Right? And once you are trained properly to learn not to take it personal, I think, we need help.
We need help. And that's fine, that's fine. Indeed, we need help. We definitely need help. And you touched on it just a bit, a little while ago. It's no secret that we have a lot of issues in our schools as it relates to peer pressure, bullying, school violence, children exhibiting delinquent behaviors because they are now coming, I don't want to say a lot of them, but some of these children are coming from broken homes and so much more. What are some meaningful initiatives our business community can come up with to assist in this area? I know you touched on it a bit, but if we can delve in just a little bit more.
Sponsoring programs for troubled teens.
Okay.
We could assist with that. We don't have to wait for the government to come up with programs. We have enough resources, as in human resources, where persons within your organization, within your business, have different skill sets that they could lend, right, at any given time. They could go to the school, So we need to use what we have, right? You might say, money in business and making no money, but as I just said, human resource is a resource.
Correct.
Right? And it's one of the best and biggest resource given your time to an initiative at the school, because we can't only rely on the teachers and the parents and the government and the public system to assist. We also have to realize, look, these children are going to come out of school, they're going to come to work for us with the same bad customer service that we don't want, right? So why not start helping now, so that when they come out of school, we have better employees, right? So if we think about it that way, rather than, okay, let's just sit back, wait till they come out of school, come into our organization, and then we're going to drill them into excellence, what we want. No. Let's work it backwards.
Yes.
Yes, I want children to come out and work for me with this sort of attitude, this sort of behavior. Let's go into the schools and see what we can do to help.
And that is so profound what you said, because we are now seeing the end result. But if it is that our businesses, people from the private sector, because many times we look at the government only and say, well, okay, the government is responsible for this, but there are things that the private sector can engage in the schools, in the communities, working along with the community councils, working along with the police youth club. There are so many different entities, because we have to bring in crime here a bit, because we talk about crime and we talk about solving crime, but we need a comprehensive approach. We need all hands on deck. And even by businesses coming and being a part of what is happening in the schools. There are many different programs, as you rightfully said. But if we are to tackle them early, we would help in getting the better results in our children when they come to work for us.
Yes.
And that is it's an eye-opener, because yes, you're thinking about that, but you didn't think about it from that angle. That in the future they would come to probably frustrate you or to enhance your business. So why not do it?
Why not do it now?
Yes, indeed. That is a very, very profound statement you just made there. Well, I want to talk about the concept behind your business and your niche market. It's different. It's different.
Yeah. Initially, when we thought about coming to Tobago, this idea was nowhere to be found. And COVID came. Then this is how far back we were thinking about doing business in Tobago. After COVID, we saw the growth of these food hubs in Trinidad.
Okay.
Right? We saw Sangre Grande Hub. We saw a couple coming up in Trinidad, particularly. And we found that these were really great ideas, right? Because you could go with your family, you could relax in these atmospheres, and you could nibble here, nibble there, at a fraction of the cost for what you would spend at a restaurant.
Okay.
Right? Then I traveled to 1 or 2 countries and I saw them as well. They were called food markets, right? And they had food trucks line up all over, selling, and they have the nice atmosphere, they have music playing, and, you felt that you could stay for a while, and you could eat, lime, and relax.
Yes.
So I said, you know what? Why not bring that concept to Tobago? Right? Let's do something like this. Now, I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So we sat in the food hubs in Trinidad almost every night, the different ones, we visited all.
Yes.
And we looked at everything. We looked at what we wanted, what we didn't want, and we decided to just take some parts of what we loved from the food hubs in Trinidad, as well as from the food hubs that I visited in different countries, and bring it to Tobago. And that is where Branch Off Hub came from, because the location is Torbay Branch Road. Okay. So we just took Branch Off, because they're branching off of the main road.
Correct.
And
the rest is history. Yeah. Stacey, let's talk about procrastination, because I always remember as a young girl, I've always been told that procrastination is a thief of time and that procrastination is not our friend, it's our enemy. Yeah. Let's talk about just how dangerous procrastination is, and did you have that kind of challenge, and how did you get over it?
Now, you're saying did like if it's a past tense. I do have that challenge.
Wow.
I do have that challenge because, as human beings, you like to do what is easy. You like to do what is familiar.
Yes.
What is comfortable. That is something innate. And from the time you have to do something that is, you have to do it, but you don't want to do it, you tend to, I'll just watch this TikTok a little longer. And
yes.
So it's something that I'm struggling with still, I must admit. I think it is the thief of, what you said, the thief
Time.
of? The thief of time. Procrastination now comes in the form of social media. Yeah, I think it comes in the form of social media because you sit on those apps and you just keep scrolling. And you tell yourself, I'm looking for ideas, I'm looking for inspiration. But really and truly, it's entertainment you're looking for, and you're looking just not to do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So
while that, because I scroll through TikTok as well and Instagram and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm like, okay, all right, this is enough.
Yeah.
Because I have something to do. I have my program to plan.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. How important is procrastination, or should I say how detrimental is procrastination, especially as a business person who you would have certain deadlines, you would have certain things that you would want to accomplish, let's say for the first quarter of the year, that kind of thing. Just walk us through that.
You procrastinate, it just won't get done. Because some things you as a business owner have to do it for yourself. You can't wait on somebody else to do it for you. Some people, I do my social media, however it come out sometimes, sometimes it needs to get done. I can't wait on somebody else to make a video for me or to market for me. I need to do it for myself, and if I continue to procrastinate, I need to understand what the repercussions of that could mean.
Okay.
So once you could deal with the repercussions of, one, not making your business be more out there, understand that your business won't make as much money if it is you set aside the important stuff. Once you can live with that, and that is fine by you, you procrastinate day and night. But I know I want my business to grow, and I want Branch Off Hub to be a worldwide name. People must come from different countries and saying, you know what, we want to go to Tobago, and when we go to Tobago, here we going.
Okay.
This is the destination. So I know what I want. So yeah, I have to stop myself and say, okay, this is enough. This 2 minutes of TikTok is enough. Let me get down to. So you have to know what it is you want.
Yes.
And that must be at the forefront of your mind all the time. What is the end game? What is the goal? Is this taking me there, or is this keeping me from getting there? And that, I think, is what will kind of make you like, okay, all right, let me put on that phone and let me drive here.
Yes. I remembered one, I'm trying to remember the person. I cannot remember if it's Steve Harvey's mom. I am thinking it's him. I cannot remember. But he was always on the television. Always on the television. And the mom is like, if you continue always watching that television, you will never be on it.
Okay.
And that was very profound, because it's like the time you are spending, you have to know exactly what am I doing with my time.
Yeah.
How am I valuing my time? And just after the break, we're going to talk about that and time management as it relates to everything else, because as a young businesswoman, you have to have time management really down pat in order to be successful. So on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about that. Viewers, stay with us. The conversation continues on Transforming Lives One at a Time.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Storebay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the program, viewers. You are viewing Transforming Lives One at a Time, and we are speaking about young women in business. Well, Stacey, let's bring into the equation the question of balance as it relates to managing all the areas of your life. Business, then you have your own personal life, your own family life, your own social life, your own. You hear how many things I spoke about. So let's talk about that and how you have been able to navigate these areas.
Diane, you speak about all these lives, it's song like I have 9 lives. Sometimes it feels like I have 9 lives, because one of the reasons I got into business is to be able to have a life. Right, to be able to have more time for family. And what I didn't realize, and what a lot of business people I'm sure haven't realized until they started, is that you actually have less time for family, right? So now I'm trying to navigate how to strike a balance, because as you mentioned in the early part of the interview, I am back and forth from Trinidad to Tobago. And that is a challenge, because I have my family in Trinidad. I have my daughter who's still going to school in Trinidad. I have my mom, my father, who are elderly now. And it is challenging. And that is something that once you're going into business, you need to be aware of. And you need to find ways to balance life. For me, I like going to the gym. I like exercising, and I make sure I prioritize that, because it helps me stay healthy, and it also helps with my mental health to deal with all the challenges that I have to deal with sometimes throughout the day.
Right.
So we need to find, we need to find is like, yeah, you're saying we need to find, but how do we find?
Yes.
Right? But find it.
Yes.
Find it. Because it's important not to lose yourself into your business. Because what's the reasons for starting a business in the first place? I'm sure the number one thing wasn't money. For many of us, money is never the number one reason for starting a business. The number one reason sometimes is more time to do the things you love to do. More time to see about your health, more time to spend with your kids, more time to spend with your parents as they're growing older, more time to travel. So if you're getting into business for these reasons, and you're letting the business now consume you so much,
wow,
that you have literally no time for nothing, for anything, then where's the purpose?
Yes.
So sit with yourself and structure your life in such a way where you put systems in place so that people can help you with your business and do the menial task that you don't have to do, right? So that you can now find time to do. You can't be everything in your business.
Yes.
You can't be the cleaner, the accountant, the videographer. At first, yes, you might need to do all those things, but after a while it becomes tedious, draining.
Yes.
You become unhealthy. You start only eating fast food because you have no time to cook. I don't cook, but still, you have no time to eat healthy.
Yes.
So it is critical to find balance. Critical.
Yes. And I like the practicality of what you are saying, because many times persons, they have the desire to be their own businesswoman, and they just look at the end result. Yeah. They are looking, wow, okay, fine, the business would be good, it will be well promoted, persons would come, I would get lots of returns from this business, it will be financially beneficial and stuff. But they don't look at all these other areas where sometimes during the tenure in the business, you may be feeling overwhelmed, you may be feeling burnt out. And especially as you spoke about in the early stages of the business, this is where it needs most attention, because you're now starting up and it needs some attention that you did not really cater for. As you said, as some person said, I am chief cook, bottle washer, everything. Doing everything because, of course, you want the business to grow. You know the business just started up and you want to ensure that you give it, you know, the kind of boost that it needs. But at the same time, you have to think about your mental health. You have to think about your physical health. You have to think about family life to ensure that you know, it's not causing you to spend less time with your family, because sometimes family members don't really understand that. You know, so that is very, very important for our young women who are viewing, not just to look at it as the, okay, I'll be in the spotlight, I'll be in the limelight, and you're just looking at all of that, because many times the kind of sacrifices that you have to make, especially when the business now starts, persons don't even tend to see that. They just look at the end result. But many times you have to be there behind the scenes when things have to come in, when you have to get stocks coming in, when you have to do repairs and all the other persons are home and you are there with the person to ensure that, you know, these are some of the things that we don't look into.
And as a woman, and a lot of people have kids, and as I mentioned, my daughter is still of school age. She's a teenager.
Yes.
And a lot of times I am not there. So for instance, she has to write a note. I have to write a note for the school because her eyes are not, she has poor vision.
Okay.
And they moved her to the back of the class, and the teacher says, well, let your mom write a note so that we can move you closer to the board. And I forgot to write the note. I was so busy up and down, and it's only last night she reminded me. She said, you didn't write the note, and now you're going to Tobago.
Oh.
Right? So I had, about after 10 last night, I had to do up something real quick.
Yes.
Tell her to type it in Trinidad and tell her to ask her grandparent or somebody to sign it. So, you know, this is something, I mean, she understands, but how many times can I do that?
Yes, of course.
There's only so much times you could, you know, forsake some duties. And, you know, so, you know, at times she even say, you know, she's joking, I know, but she say, right now you're struggling to even be a mother.
Oh my God.
She told me that.
I didn't know these youngsters. They will tell you as it is.
She told me that. But these are the things that people don't see.
Yes, yes.
And this is something, if you're going into business, you have to look, ain't no better roses.
Yes.
Right? These are the stories, the actual stories is, you know, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes of what takes place.
Yes.
You know,
of course.
Some things get forsaken, you know, and for the business to grow. So when you have a chance, put systems in place. Have people do the stuff for you that are not so important in running your business.
Right.
So that you have some time, you have a little free time to visit the child's school, to write the note
of
that
course.
she can't see on the board.
Yes. Right? Because as you're speaking, I am thinking that, you know, many times we think that if we don't do it, it will not be done. And many times we stretch ourselves and I don't want to say take advantage of ourselves, because at the end of the day, these businesses are ours. But first you want to get everything so correct. You want to ensure that all your customers are happy. You want to ensure that your tenants are happy and stuff. And many times you're thinking in your mind, the only way to ensure that it is done right is to do it myself. But with that, it is actually taken away from your time, because we're not even talking about self-care yet. We're just talking about the responsibilities of family life, children, senior parents who are senior citizens that would need that support. But what time is there for self-care?
Yeah.
So all of these we have to take into consideration. Yes, we are opening a business. It sounds exciting. It sounds, yeah, I will make money. Yes, my name will be branded all over the world. But we have to count the cost and realize that balance is equally important for the successful running of any business. I want to talk a bit about time management. Because in order for any business to be successful and for any person, any individual to be successful, time management is key. Because if that time management is not there, everything would be helter-skelter all over. Anything happen, you have a loan to pay and didn't remember until 2 weeks later and that kind of thing. So how important is time management and just keeping things in check? Is it that we have a board, a to-do list, a daily to-do list, a weekly to-do list? What? How? How can this work?
Leanne, I think I'm struggling with that as well, time management, because sometimes there's so much to do and there's so little people to do it.
Okay.
Especially in the early stages of the business, where, as you said, you want to be there, you feel like you want to be there to do everything because you want to make sure it goes right. So time management in the early stage, it may be a bit chaotic. So you have to expect some chaos.
Yes.
The phone, the calendar on the phone sometimes could be your best friend. As quickly as the information comes in, you just plug it into your phone quickly. That calendar, that Google Calendar.
Yes, it works well.
It works well.
Yes.
So sometimes if that alone is your time management right there. So that as the alarm goes off, something you put it, what I do is if I have an appointment, I put the alarm to go off an hour before that appointment, right? So like for this.
Yes, transforming lives.
Right? Because yesterday I had, somebody had booked the place, a school, a youth group to book the place to do a video shoot, and I completely forgot about it. And it was that calendar, that reminder, that 1 hour before.
Yes.
I was able to call the cleaner and tell her, look, these children coming to do this, here what to do for me. Just make sure the place is real clean for me.
Yes.
So, I mean, don't expect, right, at 10 o'clock I'm going to drink my coffee, and at 5 o'clock, no, don't expect that. Expect some chaos.
Yes.
But managed chaos by using little gadgets, like the calendar we just spoke about.
Right.
To try and, manage it at some point.
Yes. And how about accountability? How does accountability play a part? Because sometimes we have things that we want to accomplish, and procrastination again comes into play, and you said, okay, I want to do this by the second quarter of the year. Do you, how important is having someone else that you can be accountable with in terms of whatever future plans, or do you think that that is not very necessary?
It is important to the accountability aspect, because you want to know that the goals that you set, that you are achieving them, or at least you're on the right path to achieving it, the direction that you're going on. And you want to have somebody there. For me, it's my partner, my husband, right, who sets me on the path, because sometimes you want to stay off.
Right.
And he says, look, remember, we want to do this. So sometimes support, we're going back to the support.
Yes.
Support system. Everybody won't believe in what it is you want to do, right? And it's important, your circle, it's important to have friends, family members, or whoever it may be, to keep you in line.
Yes.
You could check them and they could check you. I could you say you was going and do this?
Right.
How you end up buying this, you know?
Okay.
Or they could come here and say, you know, yes, not thinking about going and take this trip, you know. I'm feeling so, and you say, but you need to do this.
Right.
This is so align yourself with those type of people, because sometimes you are not strong enough to do it on your own.
Yes.
Shein, Timu, Amazon.
Yes.
Those sites could make you very much unaccountable. So sometimes you link those things to somebody else's phone, or you know,
not to get distracted,
so that the notification might come up on their phone
instead of yours.
And they could see, but you going on Timu again?
Yes.
And now see something, right?
Yes.
So these are the things that I do
Yes.
to kind of keep myself in check. I call somebody and I tell them a plan, even though I know it's not the right thing that I was going to do. I might call them and say, I'm thinking about buying this kind of, I know they're going to set me straight.
One time. Yeah.
So we need to have friends or a community,
Yes.
a circle of people who will hold you accountable, check you, and not just go with the flow.
Yes.
But it's not that real nice.
Of
I
course.
love it.
Yes. So accountability speaks about persons who would keep you in check,
Yeah.
and not just tell you what you want to hear. Because if it's one thing, I always say, if you and I are friends, I consider you, and I'm having a conversation and I'm telling you about an experience, if I am your friend, I would want you to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And not because I'm your friend, you would say, yes, you should have handled this. No, I'd say, listen, you are my friend, you know I would only tell you what I believe is correct. I think you should have handled, or you could have handled this in another way. You could look, I would appreciate your friendship more than if you told me, yes, man, just tell them whatever you feel like, whatever on your mind. Because what is that doing? It's not about building relationships. It's not about contributing positively to the development of someone else's life. And that is what we want to do. You know, so that is very important as it relates to the circle, especially an inner circle.
Yeah.
You'll have a circle, you know.
Yeah.
But that inner circle who would be able to encourage you to keep pushing towards the goal and to keep you focused, so that you know you plan to buy a TIDA, but you're seeing some special coming up for the Hyundai for $300,000. No, they said, no, still buy a TIDA. And then later on, as the business progresses, as things improve, as things get better, then you can go to Mr. Hyundai. Well, I'm not putting in a plug for Hyundai.
Yeah.
But you understand, that kind of accountability, and I think that is very, very important, even as women getting involved in business. Younger women actually come in and be a part of business. We have to let them know it is not a bed of roses. You have to be very disciplined, you have to be accountable, and you have to be focused. Well, this is where we look to wrap up the program, but I wanted to find out from you, what is one takeaway you would like our viewers to resonate with, and just to speak to someone today who is probably contemplating starting a business, and they may be just discouraged for some reason or the other. Encourage that person today.
As I said earlier in the interview, the self-talk, what you tell yourself, if you tell yourself you can't and you tell yourself you can, you're both right? What you tell yourself is very important on a daily basis. I used to, when people saying talk positive, I used to be like, how that helping me?
Yeah.
Talking positive, how is that helping this situation? But I eventually, from reading, listening to podcasts, putting yourself in a mindset of learning, of growth, right? you see the negative self-talk, I can't do this. I can't do this. Trust me. You will really feel like you will really feel immobile, like you can't do it. But once you keep, I could do this, eventually, it's like almost a miracle. You would see doors just starting to open because you would see things that you would not have seen if you had that negative self-talk. I mean, I had imposter syndrome for a long time. I kept telling myself, there's no way I could do this. I have never seen anybody in my circle do it before. I have never seen anybody like me do it before. What makes me feel that I am so special?
Yes.
You, Stacey, what make you feel you so special that you could build a business like this? And I had to get out of my own head many times. So there is help out there. There are persons who are willing to give you advice. Sometimes you feel intimidated not to walk up to them and ask them. But there was the owner of Sangre Grande Food Hub. We were able to speak to him. We didn't know if he would have shared a lot about how we got the hub started and about running the hub and that kind of thing. And he opened up so willingly and gave us a lot of information, a lot of insight. So there are persons who you could approach and they would give you, it may not be money, but it may be a wealth of knowledge that you wouldn't have had before, right? It may be, the knowledge may now show you how to get the money to start the business. So I urge persons to just continue to try. Don't give up at the first obstacle, because sometimes right where that obstacle is, right beyond that obstacle is where the promised land is.
Yes.
And then somebody else who went do half the work you did going to come and just one dig, just one foot of digging and get what you have tried so much to achieve. So don't give up at the obstacles. Don't give up. The obstacles are there to teach you something. You're going to learn something from each obstacle, from each failure. You're going to learn something, and that is now going to keep you pushing forward. So that is my advice to persons, young, old, who want to start on this entrepreneurship journey, because it's a journey more than it is a destination. Because you're always going to you have to keep improving. As time goes by, as technology changes, as people's taste change, you now have to learn to maneuver. So it's a journey. So don't give up.
That's right. Don't give up. Don't give up. Well, Stacey, I would like to thank you so much for being a part of this program, and where you had the opportunity to transform and impact our viewers' lives. We certainly cannot take for granted the power of one making a difference, and you have made that difference in so many persons' lives right here in Tobago. I want to congratulate you on your initiative, branch of Hub. I have visited about 2 times, and I was very impressed the very first day that I came there, and of course you will be seeing more of me contributing to the organization and of course supporting. So congratulations once again, folks. Well, this is where we have to leave it for today. I am your host, Deanne. Always happy to have you in our company, and remember, subscribe on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, Transforming Lives One at a Time. The program is aired every Saturday at 5:30 in the PM. Well, as usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.